Our movie today starts with an old story from the past. And in this story, we see a kind pig named Hitpig who tells us about his hunter friend whose name is Bertha. He says that she is the one who raised him and took care of him since he was young. And he introduces us to the fact that they work together capturing animals that escape from their owners. He also explains that Bertha is the one who taught him everything he knows how to do, like cooking, how to use weapons, and many other things. He tells us that one day they were offered a very easy mission, which was to capture a small lizard in exchange for $1,000. He says that this amount was very big compared to a small lizard, but when they reached the place, they were very shocked because they discovered that it was a giant crocodile and not just a small lizard. When Bertha tried to capture it, the crocodile attacked her violently, and unfortunately it managed to eat her. Many years pass after that, and we go to the present time. In a far place in the North Pole, we notice the presence of a strange laboratory. Inside it, we see two scientists holding a weasel named Polecat, and they force him to go down through a tube and get close to a radioactive substance called plutonium. They order him not to touch it and to return to them again so they can check the radiation level in his body. But as soon as Polecat enters the tube, he says that this is his only chance to escape from here. He grabs the plutonium and throws it at the scientists after his body becomes full of radiation. And because of what happened, the laboratory explodes completely. At that moment, Polecat tries to escape from the place quickly, but suddenly Hitpig comes and throws a net at him and ties him with it. When Polecat finds himself trapped, he uses the radiation in his body and causes another explosion in the place to escape from Hitpig. Hitpig calms him down and asks him about what happened to the laboratory, and Polecat tells him that this is definitely because of the plutonium radiation that the scientists were trying to test on him. Suddenly, Polecat takes advantage of Hitpig being distracted and tries to escape, but Hitpig manages to surround him, capture him, and return him to his place again. After that, we go to Leapin, and we see him locking Pickles inside the cage. He tells her that his whole family were among the most successful trainers in the world, but unfortunately they make fun of him because they see him as the biggest failure among them. Because of that, he decided to prove to them that they were wrong in the upcoming show. At that time, we understand that he is planning something very evil. As soon as Leapin leaves Pickles and walks away, a worker comes and gives food to the animals. At that moment, Pickles takes advantage of the worker's presence and shows him a picture of Letitia in the newspaper and asks him to call her so she can come free her and return her to her family in India. Indeed, the worker likes the idea, gets encouraged, and decides to help her. We return again to Hitpig, and we see him sitting watching TV, and it is clear that he is a big fan of the comedy show, presented by the rooster named Super Rooster. While he is watching, he is shocked when he finds out that someone managed to hack his bank account, and he is even more shocked when that person steals all his money. Suddenly, he receives a call from Letitia, who tells him that she is the one who did that. She explains to him that she will take all the money and donate it, and she tells him that she is now going to rescue an elephant. Then she ends the call. Indeed, we see Letitia sneaking into Leapin's circus, and after a while she reaches Pickles and tells her that she came to help her escape. But unfortunately, she still has not been able to determine exactly where her family is in India. Letitia manages to free her, takes her, and they head to the airport to escape. Unfortunately, Leapin sees them and calls Hitpig, telling him everything that happened. He tells him that his elephant was stolen and that he must return her before the end of the week because the date of his show is close and she has a very important performance. He offers him $1 million in exchange for returning her before the end of the week. Because the offer is very tempting, Hitpig decides to accept the mission. He prepares himself and manages to locate Letitia and Pickles, who are on a plane heading to London in order to take another plane from there to India. At that time, Hitpig decides to chase them at maximum speed to catch them. After a while, the plane arrives at London Airport, and there Pickles sees an elephant puppet show and becomes very amazed, thinking that there are elephants. She decides to go explore it. Hitpig also manages to reach the same place and uses his goggles, and he actually sees Pickles' tracks on the ground and rushes after her to capture her. He enters through the ventilation shafts and keeps watching Pickles as she watches humans and the puppet show they are presenting. Pickles becomes very excited, enters among them, and starts dancing with them. But unfortunately, she causes the puppet show to be completely destroyed. She gets caught in the curtain, which pulls her up to the roof of the building. There, Pickles sees the city view and becomes very amazed by its beauty. Suddenly, Hitpig reaches her and captures her. At that moment, Pickles thinks that he is an elephant like her, but small, so she introduces herself to him. Hitpig also introduces himself and understands that he was looking for her everywhere. He asks her to return with him to the airport. Pickles is surprised and asks him if he is a friend of Letitia. Hitpig decides to lie and tells her that he is Letitia's close friend and that she asked him to continue the rest of the journey with her because she went to rescue a dolphin. Pickles becomes happy, hugs him, and tells him that Letitia was going to take her to her family in India. After a while, they both go down from the building to return to the airport. On the way, Hitpig is very annoyed because his weapon is broken, and the worst problem is that his car is also not in its place. Because of that, they are forced to go to the airport in disguise. They board the plane heading to Las Vegas to return to the circus location. As soon as Pickles enters the bathroom, Letitia suddenly appears and attacks Hitpig with tranquilizer darts. Hitpig manages to block some of these darts and attacks her with them as well. They keep hitting each other until they fall to the ground and move very slowly. At that moment, Pickles comes out of the bathroom and accidentally opens the back door of the plane. Everyone on the plane gets very scared. Because of what happened, Hitpig and Pickles fall out of the plane. When Hitpig sees Pickles holding onto her pants, he gets an idea and turns the pants into a parachute, allowing them both to land in a junkyard. There, Hitpig keeps blaming Pickles for what she did, because if she hadn't acted quickly, they both would have been dead. He lies to her, telling her that because of this, he won't be able to get her to India on time. Suddenly, he notices many pieces of scrap around him and decides to use them to build a new vehicle to move them toward her family, because it's the first time in her life she has ever been away from them. Pickles explains to him that thanks to him and Letitia, she was freed from the cage, and she thanks him for helping her without asking for anything. For the first time, Hitpig is affected by her words and feels sad, not knowing what to do. He continues to fly with her in the vehicle until they reach San Francisco. As soon as they land on the ground, Hitpig injures his hand and is surprised to find that he is in a contest for the best cook in the city. Suddenly, the organizers approach him, put him in a chef outfit, and the host introduces him to the audience, saying that the contest is being broadcast live on television. Hitpig is very surprised by what is happening, and Pickles encourages him, telling him that this is his chance to prove to the world that he is a talented cook. She even puts her arm on his injured hand to help him. The host explains to the audience that the contest rules are very simple. The contestant must use all the ingredients available for the dish they are going to present. Once the contest begins, Hitpig demonstrates his cooking skills with Pickles' help. After a while, Hitpig prepares the last ingredient for his dish. When Pickles realizes that this ingredient is a live lobster, she is shocked and tries to stop Hitpig from cooking it because it is still alive. Unfortunately, she causes the whole kitchen to be destroyed. Despite this, Hitpig decides to save the situation by taking a small piece of the lobster and putting it in his dish. Then he presents the dish to the host, who tastes it and is surprised at how delicious it is. As a result, Hitpig wins the contest. Because all of this is being shown on TV, Leapin watches Hitpig, and when he notices Pickles' presence, he realizes that Hitpig was deceiving him. He calls Hitpig and asks what he is doing in San Francisco, telling him not to move because he will come to him. We return again to Letitia and we see her at her headquarters. We notice that she is trying to fix Hitpig's weapon after she managed to steal it from him on the plane. Indeed, she manages to fix it and succeeds in summoning his car. As soon as she sees Hitpig and Pickles on TV, she decides to go to them quickly. Meanwhile, Hitpig and Pickles leave the contest location. At that moment, Hitpig tries to tell her the truth, but unfortunately, Pickles ignores his words and enters a certain house to rest a little. Since Hitpig feels exhausted and tired, he also decides to sleep on the couch. As soon as he falls asleep, he dreams of Bertha, who checks on him and asks about his situation. Hitpig tells her that Letitia stole all his money and donated it, his weapon is missing, and his car is also gone. He also says that he has a difficult mission and is supposed to return Pickles to her owner. But he has grown very attached to her and loves her a lot. Despite that, he must return her to her circus life in order to earn the $1 million. He asks Bertha to tell him what he is supposed to do, or how he should act. Bertha is affected by his words, recalls her memories from the past, and tells him that one day a farmer asked her to return a small piglet that had escaped from his farm. She accepted the mission and kept looking for him until she found him. But when she saw how kind he was, she became very attached to him and decided to raise him until he grew up. They lived together and became best friends. At that moment, Hitpig realizes that Bertha was talking about him. Suddenly, the lobster named Lobster wakes Hitpig from sleep. As soon as he wakes up, he is shocked to notice that the house is flooding. He rushes to Pickles and finds out that she broke the water pipe, which is the cause of the flooding. When the whole house fills with water, Pickles cannot get out due to her large size. But despite that, she helps Hitpig escape. He manages to get out and refuses to leave her, continuing all night to perform artificial respiration using her blowhole. Lobster manages to break the glass door and drains all the water from the house. Indeed, all three of them succeed in escaping the place. Suddenly, Leapin arrives and thanks Hitpig because he protected Pickles all this time and also managed to return his condition before the show by 4 hours. He gives him the money they agreed upon. At that moment, Pickles is shocked by what Hitpig still has, and she becomes very sad because Hitpig deceived her all this time. She decides to leave and escape. At that moment, Letitia arrives in her car and wakes up Hitpig, scolding him because he was the reason Pickles was lost. She tells him that if it were not for his appearance in her life, she would already be with her family in India. Suddenly, Polecat and Koala arrive and start hitting Hitpig because he was the reason for their captivity. At that moment, Letitia intervenes and tells them that they must go rescue Pickles as soon as possible. Indeed, the four of them get into the car and drive off to rescue her. At night, we see Leapin in his office, showing that he is happy with the large audience coming to attend his and Pickles' show. At that time, Flavio becomes convinced that this audience is fake. Leapin confesses the truth and tells him that he paid money to the audience to attend the show so that he would appear successful in front of his family and no one would mock him again. We then return to Hitpig and his team, planning in order to rescue Pickles without her getting hurt. At that moment, Hitpig warns them that Leapin has a wild crocodile and keeps warning them that it may attack and eat them. He tells them that he decided to enlist a superhero to help them. When Letitia and the others ask about this hero, a strange creature appears in the sky and approaches them. They are all amazed when they see Super Rooster, and they become very happy. They ask him to sign with them because they are big fans. But suddenly, Super Rooster interrupts them and tells them he will complete the mission in exchange for $1 million, which is the same amount agreed upon with Hitpig. At that moment, Letitia realizes that Hitpig will sacrifice the $1 million he took from Leapin, and that he did this to save them while they watch and laugh. After a while, Koala hits Flavio with a strong strike and throws him toward Hitpig, who uses his weapon and hits him with a powerful projectile, causing the ceiling of the circus to collapse. Suddenly, Stock starts pulling Leapin and Flavio into outer space and keeps pulling them until they reach the sun, which burns them. Unfortunately, the circus pulls everything nearby. Before Hitpig disappears into space, Pickles rescues him and also seals the hatch. Since there is no oxygen in outer space, Hitpig starts struggling, but Pickles transfers air to him through her blowhole. Despite this, Hitpig loses consciousness completely. Luckily, Super Rooster arrives just in time, saves him, and also takes the car and goes to seal the hatch. At that moment, Hitpig regains consciousness and starts breathing again. Letitia, along with Super Rooster, is very happy that he is still alive and did not die. After that, Hitpig leaves them and goes to check on Pickles, who is very happy to be safe. Suddenly, Letitia interrupts them and tells them that they must descend to the ground quickly because oxygen is about to run out. At that moment, Polecat enters and connects the vehicle to the power tube again, making the car move at very high speed. Super Rooster joins him and pulls the circus toward the atmosphere, causing it to start burning due to the high temperature. Before Hitpig and his team can crash, they open the parachute they made and land safely on the ground. Because of what happened, the audience cheers for Hitpig and his team because they saved their lives and are very proud of them. After a while, Super Rooster offers to work with Polecat, and they realize that by uniting, they will both become superheroes. We return again to Hitpig, who promises Pickles that he will take her to India. They hug each other, and it is clear that they are very happy. A long time passes after these events, and we see Hitpig again. We notice that he has converted his car into a restaurant that serves all the food he cooks to customers. Suddenly, Pickles arrives at the place and thanks him because he kept his promise and took her to India. She tells him that she had kept looking for her family everywhere, but despite her many attempts, she could not reach them. So she decided to return and live with him. Finally, Hitpig lives with Pickles and the rest of his friends a happy life after going through dangerous adventures, during which they learned the true meaning of cooperation and friendship.